Okay guys, and finally, the moment we've been waiting for. Finally got the floor pans for the Nova, so that's ready to get done. Gotta move some stuff around, get the car out. And you know, in normal fashion, even though the car's been sitting here waiting for months, I decided last night that I'm gonna take the power steering hose off, and I can't get another one from Napa for at least 2 days. So we're just gonna make a temporary fix here with some fuel line and hope that that holds. Alright, so we got that back together. As you can see, it's just the return line. So we just needed something so that the one that was on here was so dry rotted and cracked that it started leaking in the garage. So all we did was quick band-aid it with some fuel line. So we're gonna drive this car from Milford to, I believe, Hillsboro is where it's actually located. But this thing's about to make a roughly 35 mile trip on brakes that I've never seen. Despite having the car sitting here for the last 6 months, I've never so much as taken one of the wheels off to check the brakes. So brakes that I've never seen, original fuel lines. It does have a new gas tank and a new sending unit. You know, whatever spark plugs and wires were on it when I got it, fuel pump that was on it when I got it. All we've really done is change the oil. So let's keep getting this thing loaded up. I gotta put gas in it so that we'll make it there. Gotta put the floor pans in. So as you can see, the only thing I have in here is the front seat. The back seat's out of the car still. And the floor pans are in the boxes. They're Goodmark floor pans. So let's keep getting this thing ready to go. We also have to change the license plate out. We did get the car finally registered and insured in New Jersey. And I have to find that license plate because I don't know what I did with it. So we gotta get that done. Gas in it. Floor pans still gotta go in it. And we're definitely gonna forget something. Here. Check the power steering fluid, make sure that that looks okay before we hit the road, and which some of that's baking off right now that I spilled all over everywhere. And Oh, you know what? I wanted to get a fire extinguisher too, just in case. And we're off. Who don't know, I've been looking, or I had been looking for a 68 to 72 Nova since I was probably about 10 years old. I've always loved these cars. I've always grown up around cars, and specifically something about this generation of Nova just checked off all the boxes for me as far as what's cool to me. What looks just right, has the right amount of curves, and to me this car, no matter how you finish it, whether you make you know, the 70s street machine or the stock you know, plain Jane Nova, or if you make the stock car look, no matter which way you, even the Pro Touring, no matter which way you finish one of these cars, to me they always look amazing. So I've always been hunting around for one of these cars, and about 6 months ago, if you've seen the other videos, we found one. Unfortunately, we've just been waiting for parts forever due to the virus, and the main kind of component that kind of tied everything together so that I could start finishing, well, not finishing, but start working on this car was to get the floor pans, which, if any of you have one of these cars or are in the middle of restoring one of these cars, you know that sheet metal is so hard to find, come by. A lot of it's out of stock, and they keep changing the due dates or the ship dates. So I finally found a set of Goodmark floor pans. You've seen the other videos, you've seen the floor pan rust. And as soon as we get this done, it's just going to open the gates for us to do everything else that we want to do to this car. While we've been waiting, I've been stockpiling almost everything we need to make the changes and the upgrades and the performance components that I've bought for this car. So as soon as this thing gets back from getting these floor pans installed, it's going to be full speed ahead. I think this summer we're going to get a lot of use out of this car. We'll be changing all the suspension and brake components first before we get into any of the engine, transmission, rear end upgrades. Many of you guys have seen the previous videos. You've seen that basically the only experience, or the only time that this car has ever been on the road, was with a gas tank, or a gas can rather, strapped to the front bumper. Week or two after we had actually gotten the car. Hopefully you guys can hear me. It's really noisy in here with no interior, no sound deadener, holes in the floor, my window's open so I can see because all the glass is so cloudy. It's kind of hard. Part of that's probably my problem too. I didn't wipe anything before we started. Quick update on how this is going so far, though, without any testing or making sure that the car runs and performs good. The brakes feel great. It's a power drum brake car right now, but the brakes feel amazing. It's early into the trip, so I don't want to jinx anything here. But the brakes feel really good. The transmission's shifting good. It's a 2-speed power glide. I wish I had looked at the fuel gauge before we had started filling the car up. It does have a new sending unit in it, but I can't remember if the gauge showed full or empty before we filled it up. It is full now, and the gauge is reading full, so hopefully. Speedometer is working good, I think. It feels like we're going somewhere around 50 miles an hour, and that's what the speedometer is showing. So we're currently on our way right now from Milford to Clinton to pick up, well, to have my father follow us. He's gonna follow us out to Hillsboro, I think that's where we're at, to drop the car off. Right now, everything seems really good. Steering feels good. We have no gauges, so I don't think it's running hot. There's no smoke behind us. Once we make it to Clinton, which is somewhere probably around 15, 17 miles from Milford, we'll shut the car off. We'll do a quick check on it, see what the oil looks like, see how much oil we are or not leaking. The car's had kind of it has an oil leak. It's leaking out of the valve cover pretty good. Not pretty good. I put a new valve cover gasket in it, so maybe it's not leaking as bad. One of the bolts to hold the valve cover on must have snapped off in the head at some point, previous owner, so that's where a majority of the leak looked like it was coming from. But right now we're clipping right along. To be honest, I was pretty nervous about making this trip. Being that the car had never taken more than a lap around my cul-de-sac where I live, so I was pretty anxious, to say the least, to make this journey with a car that's totally untested and has really never seen the road since sometime in the 90s is pretty much what we know. But as of right now, feeling way better about it, way more confident. And for what it is, I mean, so let me backtrack. As long as I've looked for one of these cars, and as much as I've loved these cars since I was a kid, I've never been in one of these cars. So not only is this the first voyage in my Nova, this is the first voyage in a Nova for me. The first muscle car that I ever drove or had any experience working on was a 68 Chevelle that my father owns. He still owns. We might check it out when we get there. We'll see, depending on how quick we turn around and get back in the car. But that's a big block, 4-speed car. Has a 502 big block in it. Muncie 4-speed transmission, 12-volt rear. Not really sure what the gearing is in it. It's a convertible. So all of my previous experience working on and driving these types of cars has been on that. This is my first time driving a Nova, so this is new to me. It makes it that much sweeter though. Alright, well, we got a little bit more clipping along to do. I'm probably going to power you guys down just because Justin trying to get minutes or so that it took to hopefully get everything that I needed. I'm probably forgetting something, but just that time that it took killed about 1 battery, and I only have 2, so I'm gonna shut you guys down for a little bit, but once we get to Clinton and get a chance to check out the car and see how it's running, what the fluid levels and everything look like, we'll check back in with you. So we'll see you in a little bit here. We landed. Victory number 1.
Don't leak on my driveway.
This is Mama Hatch.
Don't leak on my driveway.
Dude, you know how hard it is to see out the back window?
You want to clean it?
Whoops.
You need to clean it?
Oh, here, you gotta...
Is that dirt?
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Don't park that thing in my driveway. It's probably leaking oil all over the place.
Come on, don't be like that.
Where's the cardboard for Doug's house to put underneath it?
Dude, the floor pans barely fit. You gotta see this contraption.
I want to see some cardboard. Go get cardboard out of my garbage can so you can put it on the floor underneath when we get to Doug's. There's something leaking.
Yeah, power steering fluid.
From where?
Huh? From the swap.
I thought you put a new pressure hose on. It's leaking from the pressure hose.
No. The pressure hose isn't leaking. That's from switching out the low pressure line, the return line. It made a little bit of a mess. It's fine.
So where is it leaking from?
It was leaking from the return line. That's where the big puddle in my driveway had come from.
All right. You have a wrench to take the seat out when we get to Doug's? Okay. All right, you got Doug's address?
No, I don't know where Doug lives.
I'll give it to you, and you're going to put it in your phone. I'm going to follow you.
All right, guys, so just an update. We're probably about 20 minutes into the trip from Clinton. Car's still running good. Back when we checked on the car, checked the fluids, everything looked good. The only problem is we noticed that we developed a fuel leak out of the tank, seam in the tank. So obviously once we get it to Doug's house, we're not going to be able to pull the car into the garage. Have to figure out from him what he wants to do about the fuel tank. Of course, because we're taking the car on a trip, I filled the tank, so it's got a lot of gas in it. If we're lucky, most of it will drain out right now on the way there. Another thing we got going for us is tripod keeps dumping, you guys. Is the 0% chance of rain. That's not my kind of luck. Here's your 0%. I hope you guys. I don't know what you can see or not. Of course, everything's malfunctioning as far as camera equipment's concerned. But it's raining. So we're in our 50-year-old car with bald dry rotted tires. That flat spot's pretty good. 50-year-old windshield wipers that are so there's no rubber left on the wiper. But going just peachy. I'll tell you what though, it's pretty loud in here. absolutely no door. There's no door seals left. Everything that's been in this car, as far as rubber or insulation, is totally cooked. I mean, you can see daylight through most of these door seams. Quiets down when you stop. The pinholes in the floor, windows that probably leak. Like here, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's the gap in the door. Nice. So it's loud. At 55, 60 miles an hour in here, it's like being in a wind tunnel. But not that we have any gauges, but the car seems like it's running cool. It's running good, shifting good. So check back in a little bit, keep you guys posted. All right, guys. Well, I don't know if you can see this, but obviously the car is gone. So when we got there, I didn't know how Doug would feel about us filming at his house, dropping the car off. So we didn't film anything there. We also wanted him to get a good look at the floor rust and what he was going to be replacing, and so there's no footage from there. But the car made it. The car ran well. Besides the fuel leak, which seems to have stopped, everything went surprisingly well. As you can see, it's raining. It's raining pretty good now. We actually, the car made it to Doug's house right before it really started to kind of open up like this. So the car's in his garage now. Hopefully about a week, he said it would take him to get it done. Then we can get to work on this thing. So as you can see, the seat, we took the seat out of the car there. One less thing for Doug to have to worry about moving around. But you can see behind the seat, we've got boxes and boxes of parts. The Willwood brakes, QA1 suspension, carpet, subframe connectors, gauges, drive shaft loop. The custom wheels that I ordered are supposed to ship out at the end of this month, so we should be able to get those together. And also the lighting in here. Hopefully by the next time we shoot a video and by the time that the car's back in here to start getting worked on, we'll have better lighting in here. We've got a friend who's an electrician who said that once we got the car out of here, he was going to come over and give us a hand. So hopefully soon. Oh, now the sun's going to come out. Maybe. So anyway, hopefully sooner rather than later, before the car's back, we've got lights in here. Because you've seen from the other videos, we've got drop lights and everything else going all over the place, and it's super difficult to see what you're working on. Even on the workbenches in here, it's like working in. I promise it looks good now, or it may look good in this video, but it's once you have a bunch of stuff in here and there's dust and whatnot flying around, you can't see anything. So that's gonna wrap up this video. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.